Olympia, go the right light.
In 1896, a German immigrant named Leopold Schmidt purchased 5 acres of land at the base of the lower Deschutes River Falls and started the Olympia Brewery. He was forced to shut down operations during the Prohibition years of 1920 to 1933, but reopened it in 1934. Growing up in the Midwest, I saw television commercials and heard radio ads about Olympia beer as they tried to take on local brands like Miller, Heilemann, and Budweiser. By the time I came out west, they had already gone out of business. They shuttered the Olympia campus in 2003. Since breweries dump contaminated wastewater and spent grains, yeast, hops regularly, the water has to be cleaned to reuse the site. The land surrounding the dump becomes a white pumice-like material called diatomaceous earth. In powder form, it can be used as a natural pesticide, so you probably don't want your kids playing in it. Reusing this facility would take some serious EPA cleanup evaluation and efforts on the part of an investor. This is why the property has been abandoned since 2003. Recent changes in federal funding have put any potential revitalization attempts off indefinitely. The best case scenario for this site would be a new brewery to take over and just continue what's already been done, but there have been no investors willing to take the risk of starting yet another beer brand in an already saturated market. There have been talks about building an aquatic center or a YMCA, even an apartment complex on the site, but for now it sits vacant. I lived in the Pacific Northwest for 14 years, and without a doubt, one of my favorite places to visit while living and working in the area was Tumwater Falls. I drove past this hidden treasure a dozen times before I realized there was something there under the I-5 overpass. When I first discovered it, the place seemed abandoned, and seeing old abandoned places with so much history and potential hurts the soul. We have so many abandoned cities, towns, churches, and facilities like this just sitting and rotting. Yet people spend billions to develop new land and are even looking to Mars as if we have run out of space. I understand that's easier and more profitable. People are just stupid. But I digress. I drove by this place on my way to work for months before I got stuck in traffic one day and decided to take the off-ramp that put me inside the closed down commercial campus. What I discovered was a big, beautiful park with waterfalls and a trail that was completely hidden by the noise and structure of I-5. I started going there on my lunch breaks during warm months to watch the salmon swimming through fish ladders and over the falls. I have probably millions of pictures and videos to search through, and I've looked, but at some point I might find the footage from a bright sunny day with the salmon, but for now this is all I have. Oregon and Washington both have a Deschutes River. This is the Deschutes River in Washington State, of course. Deschutes is a French word for rivers with waterfalls and rapids. Upon entering the park, this monument to Mr. Bush and his fellow settlers is the first thing you will see after approaching the brewery. At this point, right behind you is the Falls Terrace restaurant, and right in front of you is the upstream portion of the Olympia Brewery facility. Upon leaving the upper falls, you can follow a path that takes you downstream to where a lake sits that is fed by the falls. And if you look across, you'll see the original building that was the Olympia Brewery. I don't know what's going to happen to this place. Maybe someone will redevelop it and use it as a public park. Maybe some rich person will buy it, block it off so no one else can see it ever again. All I know is I'm glad that I discovered it. It was a great place to go to relax, get away, and look at some beautiful nature. And I hope that somebody somewhere can save places like this and people will realize the value of what we already have and stop looking for new stuff and wasting money, time, and the planet. That's all for me from this episode. Until next time.